La Yasha'ala. Right, we're going to face the east and send up the prayers. The Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwafka, Thaba'a, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'aratazah, Kawor, Haya, Bashamayim, Nathunlanawa, Lakam, Kal Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawafnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawafyanawa, Wala'a, Thabaya Ayanawa, Banasayawan, Abol, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wahathapara, La'aiwalamya, Aman. And in the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So be it. The Hakah, the power, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahawashai, Babakushah, Nathalanawa, Hakah, Larapa'ah, Kal Makala, Wakal Madawa, Hakah, Lataha, Hamatazarayam, Hakah, Lahakwiyam, Hamathiam, Hakah, Al-Rakawaf, Hatama'ala, Lagarishan, Bahashem, Yahawashai, Thawada Aman. And in the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahawashai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahawashai, thank you, and so be it. The blessings, Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahawashai, Wa Mayaka'ala, Wa Alahayim, Mata Zabiya'ah, Alawapyahana, Ha Alawapiam, Ha Sarunium, Ha Quatazayanium, Ha Kalyayalyam, Wa Akwafiam, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahawashai, Thawada Aman. And in the English, bless you, Yahweh, and Yahawashai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yahana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahawashai, thank you, so be it. Psalms 121. Asha'a Ayanya, Al-Hahayim, Ma'ayan, Yaba'a, Isaiah, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'aratazah, Al-Yathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al-Yanawam, Shemaka, Hanala'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashan, Shawama, Yashra'ala, Yahweh, Shemaka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al-Yad, Yamyanka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ayakayaka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamaka, Makal Rai, Yashama, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashama, Taza'afka, Wabawa Ayaka, Ma'aitha wa'aid I walam. Amen. And in the English, I will lift up my eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. So be it. Psalms 83. Alahayim, al damayalaka, al thakarash, wa al thashakwat, al kayahana, awabiyaka, yahamayawan, ra'ash, ayel aimaka, ya ira yamwa, sawada, wayatha, ya aitazawa, al tazapawanyaka, amawa, lakawa, wanakakidam, magaya, wala'a, yazaka, sham yashu'ala, aiwada, kaya, nawa'aitazawa, laba, yakadwa, al yaka, bayaf, yakarathwa, alahaya, adawam, wa yashama'aliyam, mawa'aba, wa hagayim, gabal, wa aimawan, wa aimalak, palashaf, aim yashabya, tazawa, gum ashawa, nalawa, aimam, hayawa, zarawai, laban yalawat, salah, aishalaham, kamadyan, kasaya sarah, kayabyan, banakal, kwayashwan, nashamadwa, bayandara, hayawa, daman, la adama, shayathamwa, nada yabmawa, ka'ira, wakazahaba, wakazabak, wakatazal manai, kal nasayakamwa, ashar, amawa, nayarisha, lanawa, af, na'awaf, alahayim, alahaya, shayathamwa, kagalgala, kakwash, napanya rika, ka'ash, thaba'aya ya'ira, wakalahaba, thalahat hayim, kantharadakma, basa'iraka, wabasa wapafka, thabalaham, mala'a, panyaham, kwalawan, wayabakwashwa, shamka, yahawa, yabashwa, wayabaalwa, aid, wayakapawa, wayabadwa, wayadaiwa, kaya atha, shamka, yahawa, labadka, al-yawan, al-kaha arataza, aman. And in the English, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabor, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asher also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Selah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Horeb, and like Zaeb. Yea, or their princes as Zabar and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of the Most High in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth for wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Yahweh. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. So be it. There's the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, listen to us now, right now. Send evils and curses, and punishments and destruction to the heathen that speak against us. Thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school, send evils and curses, and punishments and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses and punishments and destruction to the Edomites and the nations and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Pasikomatazzi, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space programs, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street. Open up the internet and the airways, the cable access channels and the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahushai, Michael and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming in the name of Yahushua. Thank you. Always, so be it. All right, Akim. So with that, we're going to be seated. All right. All right, it was in the book of Deuteronomy. All right, we're at Deuteronomy 6:1. So for those that are new to a Sabbath service, we first read in the Hebrew, which is the Lashawan Kodash, then we'll translate it into the English, all right? So Deuteronomy 6:1. Waza'af, Hamatazawa, Hakwayam, Wahamash, Patayam, Ashar, Atazawa, Yahweh, Alahayakum, La Lamad, Afkam, La Ai Shawaf, Ba'arataza, Ashar, Atham, I Bayam, Shema, La Rasha, La Ra Shathar, verse 2. Lama Iwa, Thayara'a, Ath, Yahweh, Alayak, Lashama, Ath, Kal, Kakwaf, Yawa, Wamatazar, Wa Thayawa, Ashar, Anakya, Matazar, Waka, Ath, Waba, Wabanak, Waban, Banak, Kal, Yamaya, Ka Yayak, Walamaiwa, Ya'a, Rakawa, Yama, Yaka, verse 3. Washa, Ma'aif, Yashra Allah, Washa, Makaf, La'ai, Shawaf, Ashar, Yayatab, Laka, Wa Ashar, Tharab, Waka, Ma'ad, Ka Ashar, Dabar, Yahweh, Alahaya, Abath, Yakar, Kal, Aratazar, Zabath, Kalab, Wadabash, verse 4. Shemai, Yashra Allah, Yahweh, Alahayanawa, Yahweh Akkad, verse 5. Wa'a, Habath, Ath, Yahweh, Alahayakar, Bakal, Lababak, Wabakal, Napashak, Wabakal, Ma'adak, verse 6. Waha, Yakar, Hadabayim, Ha'ala, Ashar, Anakya, Matazar, Wakar, Hayawam, Ayel, Lababak, verse 7. Washar, Nanatham, Laban, Yakar, Wadabah, Wadar, Barath, Kam, Bashar, Bathak, Babayathak, Wabal, Kayathak, Badara, Wabash, Kabar, Wabakwa, Wabakwa, Wamaak. So we're going to read that in the English now. So Deuteronomy 6:1. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which the Lord your God commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go to possess it. So in the wilderness, all those laws, statutes, and judgments that we learned it in the wilderness, but the whole point of them was to do them in the land. So thou shalt not kill, adultery. We still practiced it in the wilderness, but the whole goal was to do it in the land which was promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I commanded thee. So with Moses, he's saying that you do this, it shows that you fear the Lord, man. So many of us, because of the church, we've been taught that for you to fear God, it's emotion. That if you don't feel a certain type of way, then that's the problem. When that is not the problem, your actions, that's the problem, man. Even right here, it's letting you know that to fear God is an action, and that action is keeping his laws, his statutes, and commandments. There's nothing emotional about it. There's nothing about how you feel that gets involved with this. For you to fear God is an action in itself, just like in the Bible. If you love God, you keep his commandments. Love doesn't have an emotional side to it. Love is what you do, man. It's your discipline with your actions. Thou and thy son and thy son's sons all the days of thy life. So meaning keeping these laws, it doesn't stop. Whether it's your son, your son's sons, how many generations you want to go down, we still got to keep these laws. And that thy days may be prolonged, meaning what? You keep these laws, you have a longer life. And it's not rocket science. Life shows you that. Life shows you that there's people that don't keep the law and what? They die young, man. Or they die some horrible deaths. As in contrary to someone who serves the Lord and what? They live long lives, man. Keeping the law benefits you, that your days may be prolonged, meaning that your lifespan can be longer. There is something you can do to have a longer life, and it's keep the laws of the Lord, man. So many of us, whether it's the UK, whether it's America, whether it's Brazil, Trinidad, Jamaica, wherever we are, what problem do we have is our youth, man. Our youth are dying young, and there is something that the youth and you can do to make sure that our sons have a prolonged life, man. There's actions you can do. It's not just praying and singing. There's something you can do so that you can ensure your siblings, your kids can have a prolonged life, man. And it's called serving the Lord, fearing him, keeping his commandments. Reading on. Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that ye increase mightily. So the Lord's saying of course it's a Moses who's talking right here, but he's a man of the Lord. He's saying, you keep this, you observe and you do it. It will go well with thee, meaning things will work out. As blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, do you want to know why things don't work out? Because we don't do it, man. If you're in the Catholic Church, you ain't doing what the Lord told you to do. If you're in Christianity, you are not doing what the Lord told you to do, man. If you're in Islam, you are not doing what the Lord told you to do. That's why things don't go well with thee, man. You can ask people in the Christian church, are the members happy? They're not, man. In a Christian church, you have a personal conversation with the members there, they're miserable. One woman there, her son dead, one son's locked up, the bills are like skyrocketing. Things ain't going well there, man. Even in the mosque. Ask that black man. His son's locked up, one son's dead. You know what I mean? He's finding it hard with the bills. Things don't go well with us. And we believe in joining these religions, there's an answer in it somewhere that if you serve long and hard enough, there's an answer. And what you're doing is the reason why your life is miserable. Because the Lord's saying, leave that, man, and serve me. And guess what? Things will go well with thee. And that, what's the last part? And that ye might increase mightily. Meaning, if we want to increase, then we got to keep these laws. What so many of us don't understand is the laws in the Bible. If you're new to the UPK, these laws were only given to one race of people, which are the Israelites, which are today blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And if we keep these laws, it brings unity. And with unity, what happens? You increase mightily. Why? Because you're unified. Now, if you're in religion, religion doesn't bring unity. Religion brings division. That's why it's called religion. For those of you that don't know the definition of the word religion, it's a Greek word or Latin. It's religio. And look it up. It means to divide. Religion divides. Even in the time of the Greeks, whatever religions they had, they called it religion. Why? Because they seen how it divided people. Even back then, they seen, damn, these people believe in this, they believe in that, they're divided. That's why they called it religion, because that's what it does. It divides people. Religion does not unify people. That's why the Greeks called it religion, because even they knew it's divisive. It separates people. And that's the problem that we have. We are religious, man. That's why we are divided, because we are religious. Let's read on some more. As the Lord God of thy fathers have promised thee, in the land that floweth with milk and honey. So what land flows with milk and honey? The promised land, man. And it doesn't mean there's a waterfall of like a cow's milk. That's not what it's saying. Meaning it's a resourceful thing, and I'll explain. To get milk is not an easy thing to do. Everyone doesn't have cows. And if you got a land that flows with milk, meaning it's a rich land, man. You got a land where milk is in abundance. That's a prosperous place. Even honey. Now you go in a shop and buy honey. In ancient times, honey was hard to get, man. If a man had honey, that showed how rich he was. You know what I mean? To get honey was a difficult task. And if you got a land flowing with milk and honey, that is a very rich and resourceful land, which is the point. So there's no waterfall of milk. You know what I mean? There's not a river with honey, man. The point is, those things that are hard to get, it's going to be running in your land. It's going to be so in abundance. It's going to be so easy for you to get. Which shows how much the Lord loves us. That what things that was hard to get, the chosen people of God would have it at their hand, would have it at their fingertips, which is the point. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. So why is it saying the Lord our God is one? Meaning what? We serve one God, man. Remember, of course, now you got people that believe they serve one God. But imagine thousands of years ago where it was normal to serve many gods. You had the wind god, the rain god, a god for everything. And then there's one people that got one god. It's strange, but listen, we got one God, man. And we are unified with that God when what? We keep those laws, man. Verse 5. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. So meaning love the Lord with everything, man. All your willpower, all your desire, all your mind. Meaning, don't sin, man. Serve him with everything you got. Or what? If you don't, you're going to sin, man. If you get slack with your obedience to the Lord, you are going to sin unless you do it with all your mind, all your will, all your soul. Verse 6. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart, meaning what Moses told us, make that stay in your mind. Don't forget it, man. Don't down the line, that, God of Israel stuff, and then go in the church, man. Don't be like, that God of Israel stuff, and then go in the mosque. Make that stay in your mind. You focus on that. You achieve what the Lord requires of you. All right, verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. So now this is where parenting comes into place. There's some people out there. There's some people out there, they believe, I'll give my child the choice to come into the UPK. It doesn't work like that, man. You teach them from young, and to even say that, it's not right. If you was to grow up in a Muslim household, that child doesn't have a choice. On Friday, that son or daughter, they're going to the mosque, man. If you grew up in a Christian household, on Sunday, you are going to church. So why in here do you give your kids a choice, man? When no one is giving anyone else a choice, they're telling you, listen, if you live in this house, you are doing as you're told, man. We believe in this, and so are you. And it's in the Bible. What is in your heart, what is in your mind, you're going to teach to your children. And shall talk of them when thou sittest in thy house. So hang on. When your child is in the house, you talk about these laws, man. You break it down. You make them understand. Don't just make them go upstairs and hibernate in their room, man. You know what I mean? Spend half an hour with them. And why is this key? Because, okay, even though it was in the world, many people that, was young in the 80s, in the 90s, when they talk about the youth of today, what does so many of them say? They don't really talk to elders anymore. There's a divide in the generations, meaning if you was a child in the 80s, you was a child in the 90s, people that were older than you, what did they do? They would sit down and talk with you. You know what I mean? You're about to go out with your friends and go, nah, man, come, man. And then what? You and an uncle, you and an auntie, or you and your dad, you and your mom, you will sit down and what? You will talk. And, through some of the experiences they went through, you could learn of it. While as in this time now, no one does that anymore. Everyone thinks they're young and, just want to do their thing. And, because of that lack of communication, that's why so many people believe that that's why the youth of today are so bad, because They're not talking to a older person that's going to tell them, listen, I've lived that life. I sold drugs and listen, I'm locked up. I'm released now and I don't have a penny in my pocket, man. Listen, man, I sold enough drugs. I had nice cars. I had women all around me. And look, when I was locked up, no one was there, man. No one helped me. That lack of communication is what people believe is the missing link. Now, I'm not saying it is, but that's what some people say. But in the Bible, even with your children, just talk to them, see what's going on, man. See what you can get into them. But of course, the point here is the laws of God. And when thou walkest by the way, so meaning even when you're out, talk about them laws, man. You know what I mean? As you're walking, you see a drug dealer getting locked up. Son, you see that right there? That's why the Bible says, don't be a wizard, man. As you walk by the way, just, you know what I mean? Dig it into them, man. You know what I mean? Son, on the Saturday, that business really in the kingdom, it shouldn't be open, man. As you walk by the way, still bring out them laws, man. And when thou liest down, so when it goes to bed, man, read them a Psalms, talk about King David. You know what I mean? Get their culture ingrained into them, or it's not going to work, man. Don't be shocked when your son one day decides to join the mosque, man. You wonder why? Because his friends and the world, they're influencing him more than you are, man. Always keep this in mind. Someone is influencing someone. You know what I mean? No one just believes what they believe. So if your son is going to be influenced, if your daughter is going to be influenced, why not make them be influenced by you? Why let the world influence them and the friends that they have? Isn't it better if they get influenced by someone who loves them the most? Reading on. And when thou risest up, and when they rise up, man, any opportunity you have to give them back their culture, do it, man. All right, let's read on another 7 verses. All right, verse 8. Wakra Sharatham Lawa'ath Isle Yadak Waha Yakar Latatapath Bayan Ayah Nayak Wakaf Katham Ayel Mazazawaf Bayathak Wabash I Rayaka. Verse 10. Wahayaha Kaya Yabaya, it's like Yabayaak Yahawa Alahayaka Al Ha'arataza Ashar Nashabai La'ab Thayak La'ab Raham La'ab Raham Layataza Kwak Walaya Iquab Lathaf Laka Irayam Gadalaf Watabaf Ashar La'a Banayaf. Verse 11. Wabathyam Ma La'am Kal Tawab Ashar La'a Mala'af Wabara'af, like Wabaraf Katazar Wabayam Ashar la'a kakwataza ba'af kara mayam waza yathayam asha la'a nata'if wa'a kalaf washa ba'if ha'asha laka pawa thashakak af Yahweh asha hawataza ayak ma'arataza matazayam ma bayaf ibad dayam af Yahweh alahayaka thayaram wa athwa tha'ibad wabasha mawa thasha ba'ai. Verse 14. La'a thalaka, like thalakawan akaya alahayam akrayam ma'a lahaya ha'ai mayam asha sabaya bawa fayakam. All right, so anyway, all right, so Deuteronomy 6 and 8. All right, Deuteronomy 6 and 8. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand. So what does this mean? Does this mean you literally bind the laws upon your hand? No. You know, that's why in the New Testament, the scribes and the Pharisees had what you call phylacteries, where they literally had the laws written down on tape and they wrapped them around their hand. This isn't literal, it means you do it, man. If you bind something on your hands represent actions, and you do these laws. And they shall be as frontlets between thy eyes. And that if you notice, it says as, it didn't say it is. So again, what the scribes and the Pharisees did, you can research it, and it's in the Bible dictionary. Because they believe the law should be in between their eyes, they used to have like a box with laws in, and they have it right in between their eyes. They took this verse literal. Like even the so-called Jewish man, they have phylacteries till this day. It's like a leather tape, and they wrap it around their hand, and they have a cube which to put in between their eyes. And you know that's what the Pharisees did too, where they took Deuteronomy 6 and 8 literal, where they thought, you know, you literally gotta have the law in your hand and in between your eyes. What's in between your eyes? Your mind. Meaning you do these laws and you think about them, which is the point. And thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house and upon thy gates. So now, do you have to literally write laws upon the gates of your house? No, man. Just make sure that house is serving the Lord. But you know, they took these verses literal. To with Christ, what he had to set the record straight, man. You know what I mean? Which I don't want to divert, but that precept in Corinthians about the veil being taken off, you know, in the Christian church, they teach you it's the law. That's not what it's saying. Meaning we had the law, but there was a veil on us, man. Meaning we didn't understand how to apply it, how to do it. And when it says it's done away in Christ, that's the point. Meaning you don't literally have to have the law in between your eyes. That veil is taken away. Christ showed us what the Father wanted, man. And it shall be when the Lord thy God have brought thee into a land which he sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and to Jacob, to give thee great and goodly cities, which thou buildest not, and houses full of good things, which thou fillest not, and digged wells, which thou diggest not, vineyards and olive trees, which thou plantest not. When thou shalt have eaten and be full, then beware lest thou forget the Lord thy God, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. So the Lord's saying, remember him, man. Don't get the land, start living good, and forget who gave you it. Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God and serve him, and shall swear by his name. Ye shall not go after the gods of the people which are round about you. So it's saying, listen, man, the Moabites, the Ammonites, the Hittites, Jebusites, many nations that were around us, don't go after their gods, don't do what they do, man, which is the point. So that's the Sabbath service. We're going to pray out. So with that, I'm Madiam. With that, we're going to rise and face the east. The Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shankar, Yahweh, Malakwavka, Thabaa, Ratzaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'aratza, Kawar, Haya, Shemayim, the Thundernawa, Lakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawafnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawafinawa, Wala'a, Tabaya'aynawa, Banasayawan, Abal, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwaf, Waha'ala, Wahathapara, La'aiwalamya, Aman. And in the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory. So be it. The Hakah, the power, Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Baba Kushar, Nathanawa, Hakah, Larapa'ah, Kal Makala, Wakal Madawa, Hakah, Lataha, Hamatazarayim, Hakah, Lahaquium, Hamathium, Hakah, Arukawaf, Hatama'ala, Lagarashan, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Thawada Aman. And in the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. The blessings, Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Wa Mayaka'ala, Wa Alahayim, Matazabiyah, Alawap Yahana, Ha Alawapiam, Ha Saranyam, Ha Quatazayanyam, Ha Kalyayalyam, Wa Akwafiam, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Thawada Aman. And in the English, bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yahana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. We got Psalms 121. Asha'ar Ayanya, Al-Hahayim, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ar, Isaiah, Ma'ayim, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'aratza, Al-Yathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al-Yanawam, Shamaka, Hanala'ar, Yanawam, Wala'ar, Yayashan, Shawama, Yashra'ala, Yahweh, Shamaka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al Yad, Yam Yanka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ayakayaka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamaka, Makalirai, Yashama, Afnapashka, Yahweh, Yashama, Tazaafka, Wabawa Ayaka, Ma'aitha, Wa'aidai Walam. Amen. And in the English, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. So be it. Is that Psalms 83? Alahayim, Al Damayalaka, Al Thakarash, wa Al Thashakwat, Al Kayahana, Al Wabyaka, Yahama Yawan, Ra'ash, Al Imakar, Ya Ira Yumwa, Sawada, Wayatha, Ya Aitazawa, Al Tazar Pawanyaka, Amawa, Lakawa, Wanakakidam, Magaya, Wala'a, Yazaka, Sham Yasha'ala, Iwada, Kaya, Nawa Aitazawa, Laba, Yakadwa, Al Yakar, Bayath, Yakarathwa, Alahaya, Adawam, Wa Yashima Aliyam, Mawa'aba, Wa Hagayam, Gabod, Wa Imawan, Wa Imalak, Palashaf, Aim Yeshabya, Tazawa, Gum Ashawa, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zarawai, Labanya Lawat, Salah, Aishalaham, Kamadian, Kasaya Sarah, Kayabyan, Banakal, Kwayashwan, Nashamadwa, Bayandara, Hayawa, Daman, La Adama, Shayathamwa, Nadayamawa, Ka'ira, Wakazahaba, Wakazabak, Wakatazamanai, Kaunasayakamwa, Ashar, Amawa, Nayarisha, Lanawa, Af, Na'awaf, Alahayam, Alahaya, Shayathamwa, Kagalgala, Kokwash, Lapanya Raka, Ka'ash, Thabaaya Ya'ira, Wakalahaba, Thalahat, Hayam, Kan Tharadapma, Basa Iraka, Wabasa Wapafka, Thabalaham, Mala'a, Panyaham, Kwalawan, Wayabakwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya Baalwa, Ayai, Waya Kapawa, Waya Abadwa, Waya Da'aiwa, Kaya Atha, Shamka, Yahawa, Labalka, Al-Yawan, Alkaha Arataza, Aman. And in the English, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gabor and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asher also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Selah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Horeb and like Zayed, yea, or their princes as Zabar and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of the Most High in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth for wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Yahweh. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. So be it. The curses: blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, listen to us now, right now. Send evils and curses, and punishments and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school. Send evils and curses, and punishments and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses, and punishments and destruction to the Edomites and the nations and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, or the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Posse Comitazi, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space programs, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street. Open up the internet and the airways, the cable access channels and the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahushai, Michael and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming in the name of Yahushai. Thank you, as always, and so be it. Right, with that, class dismissed.